When people ask me, Don, who's your favorite wrestler of all time? I don't even hesitate. The man that got me through the high times, the low times, and all the times in between is a man by the name of Mr. Mick Foley. Foley's career spanned 29 years. His body of work won't be remembered for great technical wrestling, but rather the hardcore matches he's had, the awesome promos he's delivered, and his storytelling. And to the non-wrestling fan, being thrown off a 16-foot-high cell. Which, by the way, if you ever meet him, don't ask if being thrown off the cell hurt. It did. When I was growing up, there was a 3-year period where I didn't watch professional wrestling. The one person I watched wrestling with wasn't around anymore, so I fell out of it pretty hard. I just thought wrestling was over. It was something they tried, and it was over. No more body slams. No more WrestleMania. Everyone go home. No more pro wrestling. It was hard to break out of my shell after that. I didn't have many friends, and I kept to myself. When I was in the 5th grade, though, that's when things changed. We were in line for something. My classmates were talking about the WWF, now WWE. Oh, the WWF? I remember that. What, did they bring that back? I thought to myself. They were arguing amongst themselves about who was better, the way kids do. I like Bret Hart. No way, Stone Cold is better. Then someone came up to me, wanting validation on her opinion. What about you? You have to like Stone Cold. I was stumbling over my answer because I was too stupid to just say yes and just be accepted. But she decided to call me out on it and asked one of the most influential questions in my life. Or do you like that freak, Mankind? Yeah, I bet you would. You like Mankind. I was taken back by her sudden rudeness, and I wasn't going to back down from that. I'll show her wrong. Yeah, I do like Mankind. All those other guys are trash. It was at that point everyone disregarded me from the conversation. I didn't care. Who needs them? I don't like them then, and I don't like them now. But I wanted to see what this Mankind guy was all about. Because of Mick, I rediscovered professional wrestling, and I became a fan again. When I stopped watching wrestling in 1992, that was in the era of Hogan and the Ultimate Warrior. They would rant and rave about how they were the best and how they were going to beat up their opponents. Mick was the first guy I remember watching where he spoke slower and quieter, and I was getting to an age where I can understand the concepts he was using in his promos. It was something I could identify with. It basically boiled down to, I'm hurting here, and I'm going to make you hurt more than me. Also, unlike Hulk Hogan and the Ultimate Warrior, Mick had more notoriously violent matches than what I was accustomed to. Later I found out that in 1994, Mick won the International Wrestling Association of Japan's Kawasaki Dream. Outside of Japan, it became known as the King of the Deathmatch Tournament. His run in Extreme Championship Wrestling is known for wild brawling. Mick also had one of WWE's most violent matches during the 1998 King of the Ring in a Hell in a Cell match. Mick was thrown off a 16-foot cell on purpose, was thrown through the cell on accident, and was slammed on the thumbtacks. Mick had 2 missing teeth, got multiple stitches below his lip, sustained a dislocated jaw, a concussion, a bruised kidney, and a dislocated shoulder in the course of the match. But I think Mick's career could be summed up in his match on the September 22nd, 1997 episode of Monday Night Raw with the debut of Cactus Jack. Yes, Mick really did a segment where he was all 3 of his personas at once, Mankind, Cactus Jack, and Dude Love, and had this outrageous street fight with Hunter Hearst Helmsley. In this 15-minute segment, you get the best of Mick, and it really demonstrates his range as a performer. My 2 favorite moments of Mick's career was 1, WrestleMania 14 in the dumpster match. I love the finish to that. And 2, the January 4th, 1999 episode of Monday Night Raw, where Mrs. Foley's baby boy became WWF champion. The general consensus in professional wrestling is that Mick is also one of the nicest people to be in the industry. Also, just by watching how Mick carries himself, I think he has what I like to dub the Mick Foley hat trick, which is just simply having an awesome job, an awesome wife, with awesome kids. I always respected people who just decided to go for it. Mick wanted to become a professional wrestler, so he loaded up his car, came to Pittsburgh, my hometown, and started training under the tutelage of Dominic DeNucci. Mick wanted to become a writer and happened to become a best-selling author in the process. So when Mick decided to do a spoken word tour and kick it off in Pittsburgh, I just had to go. It was a good thing I got tickets when I did, too, because the show sold out quickly. I drove down with my buddies to the comedy club where he was performing. When we arrived, we saw the long lineup of fans waiting to get in. Walking past them, There was one word that kept popping up in their conversations. That word was stand-up. I knew going in that we weren't going to get just stand-up. Mick, though his trade is professional wrestling, he's always been a storyteller. We weren't going to get the typical setup, punchline, and rapid fire of a stand-up comic. We were going to be told stories. We were going to listen to stories that would go on for minutes, be taken to peaks and through valleys. There may not even be a punchline at the end, but we were going to be entertained. I can't remember who the opener was, but he was a comic, and he was good. He had the crowd nice and warmed up. But he wrapped up early because about 3/4 into his set, Mick was walking through the crowd to get from the green room to where he needed to be to make his entrance. He walked past our table, and I felt like a kid watching Santa Claus put presents underneath the tree. For the next hour, Mick proceeded to do what he does best, entertain. He told great stories about the Hell in a Cell match, his time in other companies outside of WWE, even some personal stories as well. My second favorite part of the evening was when he was talking about delivering promos like a normal human. Then about halfway through, he clicked on to being angry and furious out of nowhere. And then he clicked it off and went back to being a normal human again. The crowd was stunned and didn't know how to react to that and gave a nervous chuckle. But it was something I was all for. Mick gives some of the best promos in wrestling, and I felt like we just got a masterclass. My favorite part of the evening was at the end. Mick opened up the floor for a question and answer session. I felt like no one was asking any good questions. We got questions like, what was it like wrestling in some random pay-per-view in 2002, or some variation of that? I wanted to be a little bolder. I knew that from his books that Mick loves theme parks. So I stood up, walked over to the microphone to ask my question, and shot my shot. So I know that you're a big amusement park guy, and we're not that far away from Kennywood. Do you have any fun stories about Kennywood? Kennywood is an amusement park in the Pittsburgh area. I saw Mick light up like a Christmas tree, and I heard, that is an excellent question. I don't even remember Mick saying the word question. I don't remember his answer at all. Something about a roller coaster? I was just standing there, nodding, trying to be polite, but not hearing a thing he's saying as I was in my own weird headspace. He thanked me. I went to go sit back down, and my friends were impressed. But I had to confess, I didn't hear a word of it. I was blown away that for a brief moment, after decades of being made happy by Mick Foley, I had a chance to make him as happy by bringing up that memory. At the end of the show, we lined up for a meet and greet. I got a signed 8x10 and a picture with the man that got me through the high times, the low times, and all the times in between. I told him how I became a fan again because of him, and he was appreciative. A few years later, I had a chance to step into the ring as a ring announcer for a local promotion. I don't think I ever would have done that without the influence of Mick. I think if I had a chance to ask him another question, it would be, did it hurt? Follow-up question, when you fell from heaven? Hey, got him.